The real reason people are questioning everything, why certainty feels harder to find today. There was a time when many people accepted information with relatively little hesitation. News came from a few major sources. Textbooks were reliable, and experts were rarely questioned outside academic discussions. Today, the situation feels very different. Almost every topic seems to spark debate. Health, technology, education, politics, science, nutrition, and even everyday lifestyle advice are constantly challenged. This raises a question. Have people become more skeptical, or has the amount of available information simply made certainty much harder to maintain? The answer is probably a combination of both. The internet changed how people learn. The internet gave people access to more information than any previous generation could have imagined. Within minutes, someone can read research papers, watch expert interviews, compare opinions, and find thousands of discussions about almost any topic. This is interesting because greater access to information does not always create greater certainty. Sometimes it creates the opposite. When people discover that experts disagree with one another, they begin questioning ideas they once accepted without hesitation. Why? Trust is becoming more complicated. Trust used to be relatively straightforward. A teacher explained a concept, a doctor gave advice, or a newspaper reported a story, and many people accepted that information as reliable. Today, people often compare multiple sources before forming an opinion. That can be healthy because critical thinking encourages better decisions. At the same time, it also makes trust more complicated. When every opinion seems to have another opinion challenging it, deciding what deserves confidence becomes much harder. A situation that feels familiar? I've noticed this even while searching for simple answers online. Looking up one health question often leads to dozens of different explanations. One article recommends a certain habit, while another argues against it. One expert emphasizes one approach, while another completely disagrees. After reading for a while, it becomes difficult to know which explanation deserves the most confidence. Instead of feeling more informed, people sometimes finish feeling more uncertain than when they started. Why more information does not always mean more understanding? One assumption people often make is that more information automatically leads to better understanding. In reality, information and understanding are not the same thing. A person can read hundreds of articles without developing a clear picture of the topic. Understanding requires organizing information, evaluating evidence, recognizing bias, and separating strong claims from weak ones. The challenge today is not only finding information, it is deciding which information deserves attention. The role of social media. Social media has changed how ideas spread. Instead of waiting for traditional publishers, individuals can share opinions with millions of people almost instantly. This has created opportunities for new voices, but it has also increased the amount of conflicting information people encounter every day. This is interesting because algorithms often prioritize content that captures attention rather than content that is necessarily the most accurate. As a result, emotional or surprising claims may spread faster than careful explanations. Why people are becoming more skeptical. Skepticism is not always a negative quality. Healthy skepticism encourages people to ask questions, examine evidence, and avoid accepting claims too quickly. Problems arise when skepticism turns into rejecting everything equally. There is a difference between carefully evaluating information and assuming every source is unreliable. Finding that balance has become increasingly important because complete trust and complete distrust can both lead to poor decisions. How personal experience shapes beliefs. People rarely form opinions using evidence alone. Personal experiences influence how information is interpreted. Someone who has experienced success with a particular habit may trust it more strongly than someone who has not. Likewise, negative experiences can shape future beliefs even when broader evidence suggests a different conclusion. This helps explain why people sometimes reach different conclusions after reading the same information. Their previous experiences become part of the interpretation. Why questioning can lead to better thinking. Questioning itself is not the problem. In fact, science, education, and progress all depend on asking good questions. Most major discoveries began because someone challenged an existing explanation. The important difference is how the questioning happens. Productive questioning seeks stronger evidence and better understanding. Unproductive questioning dismisses evidence without examining it. That distinction matters because curiosity and denial may look similar on the surface, but they lead to very different outcomes. The challenge of information overload. Modern life exposes people to more information in a single day than previous generations sometimes encountered in much longer periods. News updates, videos, articles, podcasts, research summaries, and social media posts compete for attention continuously. The brain has limited time and energy to process all of it. As information accumulates faster than understanding, people naturally begin questioning what deserves their attention and what should be ignored. Why expertise still matters. Although questioning has become more common, expertise remains valuable. Experts spend years studying subjects, conducting research, and developing specialized knowledge. That does not mean experts are always correct, but it does mean their conclusions are usually based on deeper investigation than casual observation. The challenge for the public is learning how to evaluate expert consensus while remaining open to new evidence when it genuinely emerges. That balance requires thoughtful judgment rather than automatic acceptance or rejection. The difference between open-mindedness and confusion. Being open-minded does not mean believing every new idea. It means remaining willing to examine evidence honestly. Confusion happens when people treat every claim as equally credible, regardless of the quality of supporting evidence. This raises another question. How can someone stay curious without becoming overwhelmed? One answer may be developing stronger critical thinking skills rather than simply consuming more information. Why the future will require better critical thinking? As technology continues advancing, artificial intelligence, personalized content, and rapidly expanding information will make critical thinking even more valuable. People will need to evaluate sources carefully, recognize logical reasoning, identify misinformation, and understand how evidence is built. The ability to think clearly may become more important than simply remembering facts because information itself is becoming easier to access than ever before. Final thoughts. The real reason people are questioning everything is not simply because trust has disappeared. It is because access to information has expanded dramatically while certainty has become more difficult to achieve. The internet, social media, personal experience, and information overload have changed how people evaluate ideas and form opinions. Questioning can be a powerful tool when it leads to deeper understanding rather than automatic doubt. As the amount of available information continues growing, the ability to think critically, evaluate evidence, and remain intellectually curious will become one of the most valuable skills people can develop. Thanks for watching.